Are you ready to expand your referral network without sacrificing your well-deserved vacation? In this video, I'm taking you on vacation with me, the Stoddard family, as we explore the Southern Oregon coast, the Redwood Forest, San Francisco, including Alcatraz and Fisherman's Wharf, and a family wedding. All while I reveal the secrets to growing your connections while you relax and enjoy your time off. Discover effective strategies to build a list of potential relationships while you turn off the craziness of your day-to-day business. No matter where you are, whether you're lounging on the beach or exploring a new city, you can turn your downtime into a networking opportunity. Don't let your business ruin your vacation, and don't let your vacation stop your growth. Instead, make it an opportunity to thrive. Again, subscribe for more insights on networking and business growth, and start building your referral network today. So we started in our cute little town of Canby, Oregon, headed south to the mid-Oregon coast to a little town called Florence. Now, what was really cool was along the way, we went through a little town where I grew up in called Veneta. It was kind of right between Veneta, Elmira, and a lake that was called Fern Ridge Lake. And it was so fun as we were driving by, I was able to tell my kids that as a family, my younger years, we were able to spend so much time on that. If you haven't had a chance to go back and drive by the places with your kids where you grew up, it's a really neat experience. Just a flood of memories came to my mind, and it made me realize how grateful I was that I was taking my family on a road trip, because it was so impactful for me as we were on vacation as a family. So we went to, again, ended up in Florence, Oregon. You see some beautiful pictures of the beach, my kids playing in the sand. It's interesting that my daughter commented, like, I want to live near the beach as soon as we got out of the car. And then she said, as we got deeper into it, but I want to live by a warm beach. We don't really call Oregon beach. We call it the Oregon coast because it's cold. Like, you need to have a hoodie on. You have to realize that the ocean temperature is probably 50 degrees or maybe a little above that. And the air temperature tries to hover a little more than that, but it's not that great at it. So anyway, you can see all the fun we had here on the beach building sandcastles. My wife has a little trick getting back into the car. Keep in mind, we're going to be in this car for another week, and you got sand everywhere. So she takes baby powder. Some of you probably already know this trick. Puts baby powder on our feet, and what it does is it dries off your feet and causes the sand to fall right off your feet, which is pretty critical for when you're traveling in a big van as a family for the next 7 to 8 days. So from Florence, the very next morning, I got up and walked across this beautiful bridge that you're seeing here. Had a phone call with my dad. As I did so, on the way back, I noticed that right next to our hotel was this cute little real estate office. Had to take a picture of it. And this is really where the networking starts to come into play. You see, throughout this entire trip, I was identifying real estate signs and simply taking pictures of them. I realized that these are agents with whom I want to be in relationship with. Now, I happen to be traveling to an area where there's quite a bit of referral business going back and forth between my area and Northern California. And so it was a great opportunity for me to create some new relationships. So I was even doing that along the Oregon coast. This little Coldwell Banker office, cute little office right here. You'll hear some of my insights here.
I was set on a walk, decided to stop in front of this little real estate office here, Coldwell Banker office. Beautiful little place. Had to take a couple pictures. Saw a guy coming out of the office. He was obviously curious as to why I was taking pictures of his office. And anyway, we started a quick conversation. He's a licensed agent here out of Florence, Oregon. He's telling us some of the properties he's got listed.
So you'll notice that the very best practices is to actually communicate with somebody. I so happened to stumble upon this person. I was taking pictures of his office because it was a cute little place, kind of a landmark building there in the town of Florence, Oregon. And he got curious as to why I was taking pictures of his office. And so I just introduced myself, and I told him what I do and how I help agents. And I told him that I was, a licensed agent out of the Portland area, and that I had a business partner up there and would love to stay in contact and build a referral network with him. And he said, great. Yeah, let's keep in touch. So again, in just a very, very few minutes, I was able to have a conversation that will now take that cold call into being a warm call when I call back. Now, here's the important thing. I did this without my family with me, because when I was with my family, I did not want to be talking about business. I know from my own perspective that once my mind starts running with business, it's hard to turn it off. And so I made any personal contact and handshakes with people and actually met people away from my family so I could really be dedicated to them. And I'll tell you what, it was one of the greatest decisions I've made. Like, the trip was amazing. I thought about business very, very little. I took some great footage, which will create a great family video, but also create a great documentary for me to walk you through this process. So everywhere I'm going along the coast, you can see these beautiful sights that I'm seeing now all the way into the redwoods. Okay, so some pretty incredible footage here. This was a time for me to really reflect on what's important to me. This was a Monday morning that we were in the Redwood Forest. when normally phone would be pretty busy. I had told everybody that I work with that I was going to be off and unavailable. I put an auto email responder. Anything that would need to be covered, I covered with somebody else on my team. To where people knew not to contact me. There was messages wherever people would normally find me, letting them know that I was not available this week. Now, it took a little bit of practice for me to not feel like I needed to check my email, check my Slack messages. Once I really started to unplug, my time got even better. So a way to think about that a little bit when it comes to your vacations is that sometimes we trick ourselves thinking I'll just work for a few hours in the morning. But the reality is it's really hard for us as entrepreneurs to turn off the entrepreneurial mindset. And so what I did, and you'll notice this throughout this video, is that I just took pictures of real estate signs. And I tried to take them to where I had a little bit of context about the property. The following picture was oftentimes a street sign to where I had some context as to where that particular listing was at, so that I could call and say, hey, I'm a fellow agent, would have to be traveling through town. I saw your listing over here. Do you take a lot of listings like that? Is that an important piece of your business? It's great to meet you. Here's a little bit about me. Here's how I help agents. And I'm also the CEO of a referral platform called ProInsight that connects agents across the country who on average sell over 37 homes per year, almost primarily by referral, and just kind of sprinkling in some of those things after the fact, right? When I called them the next week, I could have some context where they knew that I actually had seen their listing, that I'd been through their town, that I complimented them on something, the way that they staged the home, not staged the home. I didn't go inside the home, but how they, how the home looked from the outside, et cetera. From the redwood forest. Now, of course, you're seeing some gorgeous big trees, lots of fun time with my family. I had a couple of mindset epiphanies. If you haven't yet watched that video about the redwood mindset, watch that. There were some great lessons in there that really helped me to think about just how important it is to maintain a strong mindset. And very similar to a seed, when you plant the right seeds in your mind, they can become incredible things. Very much like a redwood tree seed is very tiny until it grows into over 300 feet tall. So again, you're seeing all these beautiful images of me down along Fisherman's Wharf. There was quite a bit of concern coming in that our cars were going to get broken into. I was given to San Francisco, so we actually paid to have our cars parked for us. And we did that inside of a hotel to where it was underground, it was safe, so that we could rest assured and have a good time knowing that our cars weren't being broken into while we were off on Alcatraz. So we took the boat over inside Alcatraz, really incredible experience. Again, I really wasn't thinking about business here at all. It was a really fun time to be with my family. We had some fun as we kind of pretended to be prisoners and thought about what it must have been like to be a prisoner there, to try and escape. And if we were to escape, how would we do it? Just great family memories. If you haven't yet been to Alcatraz, highly recommend it. Very interesting stories. And my family was buying books in the gift store to learn about, attempted escapes from Alcatraz. And we continue to talk about it, find documentaries on it. It's really kind of a fun educational experience. If you haven't yet been, one of my favorite parts was actually just the boat ride there and back. That we had a beautiful view. The air had cleared up a little bit. You can see me here standing in front of, I'm on the edge of the boat, overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge. Just absolutely gorgeous. And what a fun experience that was. You could also see as you're coming back into the city, you can see the big Transamerica Tower, which is pretty stunning, pretty spectacular. And just downtown San Francisco, I'd heard a lot of flack about it, that it's in pretty rough shape. There were definitely parts that were pretty scuzzy looking and quite sad looking the way people are living, but there are other parts that had been cleaned up. One interesting thing that I noticed was that there were self-driving taxis everywhere. This car called Waymo, which is really interesting as you think about technology of where it's come. Actually, completely autonomous car. You tell it where you want it to go, and without any other human in the car, it's driving you around. I did not go in a Waymo, but I was fascinated because they were everywhere in San Francisco. Like I saw maybe one or two Ubers, and I saw Waymos everywhere, which is really indicative. Now, sometimes as real estate professionals, people will say, "Well, you're going to go the way of self-checkout, that we aren't going to need real estate agents anymore." I would argue that the purchase and sale of a real estate property, when done correctly, especially in collaboration at the highest level with other professionals, is not something that technology will replace. Now, if you aren't careful, you could be commoditized and have downward price pressure, but I don't believe that real estate agents will be totally replaced. And I think the great ones will be actually compensated even more as they learn to collaborate with the other professionals at the table. We then made it to my aunt's house. Now, this was my favorite aunt. You can see us standing here in front of the fireplace hearth with my uncle and aunt, and she was so much fun, still is so much fun. And my kids absolutely fell in love with her. They're like, "Why have you been keeping her from us?" She's living in a different state, but my kids obviously fell in love with her as well. So fun to spend some time with her. That was honestly probably my outside of connecting with my own family, that was my favorite part of the trip, was connecting with my aunt. You'll also see here some pictures of the wedding, Oakland Temple, up on the hill in Oakland. Beautiful setting. You can see that the views, including the sunset that we caught, views of my family, it's just absolutely stunning up there. The bay was clear at that point, and we were able to really enjoy the wedding, and just a very sacred ceremony inside the temple. It was wonderful. You'll also notice that we had a chance to go over the Bay Bridge, which was pretty incredible to think that they can build a bridge that spans that far of a distance. That was really fun, just being in and around the big city, seeing how big city folk live. I haven't lived in the city for a long time, and it was quite fun to be in that environment, just around lots of people. We also spent some time down along Fisherman's Wharf. You know, we went to the Ghirardelli's factory. We were at Applebee's and had a pretty killer view. For Applebee's, pretty killer view of the Golden Gate Bridge. We also just got a chance to walk along and see some fun things like the Transformers. You see this picture of my son in front of the Transformer. That was inside of the Ripley's, believe it or not. Anyway, really fun place to be. Again, be careful with your car. Be careful probably at night. But during the day, especially when the weather's nice, it was just absolutely beautiful. The rest of our trip consisted of my nephew's actual wedding reception, which was fun. I'll let it play here in just a second. Some of the dance party. My kids were having a blast. We're all having a blast. And just connecting with my wife's family, you see the picture of her siblings, at least the siblings that were able to make it. Some of them got sick last minute, couldn't make it. My wife comes from a family of 7. Their last name was the Ricks, which ironic enough, my freshman year in college, I attended what was called a Ricks College, which was in southeastern Idaho. Anyway, just a great time together. And again, you'll notice that as I was going along the trip, I was taking pictures of real estate offices. The next week, I was calling people saying, I went through your town. I'm a licensed agent here. Would love to have a referral connection with you. Now, the important thing that I want you to know about this is that what we've built at ProInsight, which is a company that I lead, is a way to have those relationships be sticky. Because I can, of course, have relationships with people or make a phone call and have them like me and say, yeah, I'll remember you. But the reality is when it comes time to actually send a referral, they're not going to remember you. What we've created at ProInsight is a professional referral platform where agents are able to claim an exclusive territory on our platform and the remembered one, right? So this platform really gives agents the ability to create relationships and to be the one in their community to whom not just real estate agents, but professionals from over 30 different industries are all looking to refer. So again, this adventure with my family was a total success, allowed me to create some new relationships, invite some of new members onto the platform, help them see the value of what we're building. And the most important thing I want you to remember is that I didn't let my business ruin my vacation. Yes, I did. I took some pictures along the way. I didn't engage in that work. I simply essentially documented the work that I wanted to do the following week. And what that allowed me to do is to be completely present for my family. I didn't shortchange them at all. And I didn't shortchange myself the joy of actually being present away from home, away from business, because I was quote unquote serving my business. No, I was with my family and I was setting up my work for the next week. And that's what I encourage you to do. When you go on vacation, get everything set aside, set apart to where you have everybody taking care of everything that could happen while you're on vacation. While you're there, sure, document a little of the work that you want to do following, but while you're there, be there. Your kids grow up so fast. Do not miss these special moments, whether it be your kids, whether it be your nieces and nephews, whether it be aging parents. Time goes too fast to be thinking about work when you could be truly present with your family. So I appreciate you tuning in. If this video has been of value, please subscribe and let other people know. And I look forward to staying in contact and helping you to continue to grow your referral business as a residential real estate agent.